Hi, I'm Adam, but you probably knew that. This project is called Daddy Diaries, and I started it for a few reasons. One, most important, I'm going to be a dad in September to a baby. Well, it'll be a baby at first, and then we'll grow into a person, but you knew that. So it's all very exciting. I'm going to be a dad, and I've known for some months now, and there's a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, a lot of everything. Obviously, a lot of anxiety and fear, and so yeah. Also, my situation is not exactly what I had thought it would be for myself. Having a child, I'm not with the mother. There's that, and it's been hard and challenging in a lot of ways. But there's so many positives. I have an amazing support system and family, and so does the mother of the child. So this kid is going to have a lot of love everywhere. And I know we'll make it work. And I've been talking to so many people, family and friends who are dads and parents, and their stories have really helped me and things that they've told me. And so this project is kind of about that. People sharing stories about their experiences with fatherhood, new dads, old dads, expecting dads, people who just have dads, had dads, and from a broad spectrum too, from traditional families and non-traditional families, and their people's fears and struggles and joys and the fun things and the weird things, the surprises, everything. I'm an actor and a comedian and a bit of a storyteller, so I believe in stories can help people. I know they can, and inspire perhaps, and educate and entertain. And so that's what this is about. That's plain and simple. I've already interviewed some family members and friends. I'm going to be talking to people I don't know from outside of my communities, and going to be speaking and dealing with some organizations in New York, some family organizations, to help broaden this and put this on their social media campaigns perhaps. To really just, expand this as much as I can. So if you like what you see and anything touches you or moves you and you want to share your own story, please feel free. Contact me or just post it on this page. And or just watch and share it, please. That's all. This first one, I interviewed my dad. Big surprise. Dad number one. And he shares what it was like to go to Vietnam while his wife, my mom, was pregnant with his first son, and how that was raising 3 crazy kids, boys, and some other things that I hadn't even known about, and his opinions on tattoos. So enjoy that. Once again, Daddy Diaries, thank you for watching, and see you soon.
So I was in Vietnam when your mother and Jay's mother was pregnant, and I thought I would not be coming home until after he was born. And then I got wounded in Vietnam and was allowed to come home early. So I got home in beginning of October, and Jay was born in November of 1971. So although being wounded is not a lot of fun, it was a great opportunity. It was terrific because I knew I was going to be there for his birth, and I was.
How scary was that when you were gone?
I thought, I knew your mother had plenty of support with her family and my sisters and your grandparents. So I knew that she'd be okay, but on the other hand, she was going to be essentially alone with a baby. As it turned out, after the baby was born, I was diagnosed with malaria, so I was in the hospital again. So when she came home, she was alone with the baby for a handful of days till I got better. So that wasn't good for her. But I remember it was, you just sort of do it. It wasn't like scary, like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen. It was just sort of like, all right, this is the way it's going to be. And then things changed. It changed for the better because I was, as I said, I was able to be there not only when he was born, but I was in the, they didn't do it that often, but I was in the delivery room with your mother And so I saw Jay come into the world. Probably was the first one to see him. The doctor was busy doing stuff, and so I was right there. I didn't really have a lot of fear. It was I mean, we were married. We wanted to have children. We didn't plan to have a child right that soon, but we did. And I remember finding out and was getting they had a ceremony for all of the lieutenants who were leaving post because they had gotten orders to go to Vietnam. And the commanding officer, the word got around that Judy was pregnant, so the commanding officer announced my name because everybody got a little certificate, and I was walking up and he goes, "Oh, Lieutenant Harrington, if you knew then what you knew now, you probably wouldn't have." That was his. And I go, "What?" Okay, yeah, he was making a little joke, but yeah, maybe we wouldn't have, I suppose, if I knew I was definitely going to Vietnam. But on the other hand, it was okay.
Sometimes you can't plan for stuff.
Yeah, sometimes things just happen and you just deal with it as life goes on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, it's a lot of work, a lot of physical work, and responsibility. And, of course, then we had you a few years later. So then we have 3, and I mean, let's face it, your mother did majority of the work with the kids and the babies when you guys were under 5. But I was there all the time. Obviously, did changing and babysitting and playing and all that sort of stuff. But I had to go to work, and so obviously the majority of the day was spent with your mother. But I always said that as you kids grew up, there's 7 years difference between you and your oldest brother. And the easiest time to be a parent for me was when Jay turned 14 and you were 7 and Matthew was, I guess, 10 in between. Because you guys could get up, feed yourself, entertain yourself, play by yourself, and I knew where you were. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to dress you, change you, nothing. It was just sort of like make sure you were safe and in the house or in the backyard or down the street. And and I knew it when it was happening. It wasn't like I looked back and said, "Oh man," and I thought, "Oh, this is great." And then of course Jay got to be 15 and 16. He wanted to go here, there, and everywhere, and things changed. Of course, then we finally let him go to downtown Wellesley when he was 15 by himself. No, that's maybe, I don't know the date, but he'll tell me that it was, that I never let him do anything. And then when you were 10 or whatever it was, you were all over the place. And he kept calling me on it, saying, "You never let me do anything." But I think you get used to it. You get not you, but you come to expect what is going to happen and what a kid is capable of doing, and so it was easier to let you do what you wanted to do. I remember specifically saying to you, "Okay, you're on your own. You have to. You're a good student, but you had to be on your own and do your own schedule. And if you came home at Christmas and your grades were like in the toilet, it was UMass Boston, because you weren't going to go back. Even if you hadn't flunked out, it was like, forget it. You can't handle it." And you handled it awesomely. You get great grades. You never. I don't think you ever expressed to me that you were homesick. You might have been a little bit. I don't know, but you were pretty much a free spirit. You figured it out real quick, which is good. It made me happy that you were that independent.
Is that
My whole approach to having kids, and it wasn't necessarily what your mother's was, but the way I looked at it is, you are not me, I am not you. And although you couldn't make all your decisions on your own, you needed guidance and care and protection. I was like, hey, you want to do it? Do it. It was age appropriate. Obviously, when you were younger, you could do this, and you get up old, and then even to the point, in college, hey, you want to do that? Do it. It's on you. I wouldn't have done it, or I would have done it, or I would have done this, and you don't want to do it. But I didn't. I never felt it was my job after a certain age to tell you what to do. It was just like, I think you ought to do this, or let me tell you that what I think. Case in point, Matthew called me when he was in college. I think I've told you this before. And said, Dad, everybody's getting a fraternity logo tattoo. Do you think I should do it? And he was like 20 or 21 at the time. And I said, I don't think you should do it. I don't want you to do it. But hey, you're 21. If you want to do it, go ahead. Knock yourself out. As far as I know, unless he's got it square in one of his butt cheeks, I don't think he ever did it.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, so. But the point is like I wasn't going to say, no, you can't get a tattoo. It's like, that'd be crazy. It's like, even though I had an opinion and I was going to tell him, I certainly couldn't have stopped him.
Do you consider it a point of pride that none of us ever got tattoos?
Yes. Yeah. And that's like, and had you, I would have said, okay, it's your body, you did it. But on the other hand, I think you're much better off that you don't have one. Not even because it's just like whatever you would have put on there is not going to have the same relevance every 10 years or 15 or 20 years. And you look at it and say, why did I do that?
That's true.
What's the jumping monkey doing on my butt? So what?
Well, that's why I'm doing this video, as I'm revealing something to you.
Oh, you got it? Okay, so he's got a jumping monkey on your butt. Yeah. Yeah. Being a parent is hard, but it's also very enjoyable and rewarding, because when you see the results of a kid growing and learning and achieving at different levels, it makes you feel good that you did something right. I never totally took. I don't think that a parent should take total credit for the kid's talent, whatever it is, athletic or any other thing. But they can take credit for having the kid have the opportunity to do those things.